help you welcome Glenn Smith.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you all for being here today. It's a real treat for me. I'm actually a new member in the Fulshear Chamber, and so I look forward to seeing y'all at more events and getting to know you. And again, thank you for coming here today. I hope you received the handout when you came in. This is a note-taking sheet for you, and I'm just going to go through this today so you can write on it and take notes on it. I'm also very comfortable if you have a question, as I'm going along here, if there's something you want to stop me and ask, feel free to do that. I'm very okay with that. I am a business coach and an executive coach. I started my career in the aviation industry. My father owned aviation businesses, and so that's where I started. Then I left business world and went into Christian ministry and worked with churches for several years, then back into business and started a business and sold it. And then back, what brought my wife and I and our family to the Fort Bend area 22 years ago was I came down to work with a large church in Sugar Land as their business and staff administrator. And that was an exciting experience. So we had like 45 full-time staff, 75 part-time staff, and it was a big job. And nearly 1,000 volunteers. So stayed pretty busy. While I was doing that, I did a lot of internal coaching, working with different leaders and business leaders as well as leaders in the church. And when our senior minister retired, I thought, I love this coaching thing. I enjoy working with people and helping develop leaders. I think I can do this for a living. And so I went to a few of the people that I was working with, and I said, has this been really helpful for you? And they go, oh, yeah, it's been great. I said, okay, now here's the big question. Would you pay me to do this? And they all said yes. So I had a few clients to start with, and that's how I started back in 2002. But it's been fun. I probably had the privilege of working with maybe close to 300 business owners here in the Fort Bend area and West Houston area. And I enjoy the opportunity to help business owners grow and scale their businesses. There are typically three reasons why people hire me. Number one is they want to grow their business. And they know if they get a coach who's got some tools that can help them, they can grow faster than if they grow on their own. And then some people want to grow because they're just stuck. They've hit a plateau and they're kind of stuck. And so they'll hire me to help them so they can grow their business. A second reason why people hire me is to help them solve problems. We all have problems. If your business is growing, you've got growth problems. If your business is not growing, you've got not growth problems. But, leadership is about solving problems. And so that's what leaders do. And so sometimes, though, you get into a situation where you keep having the same problem over and over again. It just keeps reoccurring. Sometimes it's a cash flow or a marketing problem or a personnel and staffing problem, a process problem. And so sometimes people ask me to engage with them to help them, get out of this reoccurring problem cycle that they're in. And so that's fun to help them make some changes that then just like their business just takes off typically after that. A third reason people hire me is because they want to work less. They don't want to make less, but they want to work less. And if you're a business owner, the tendency is to work 24/7. The danger is to work 24/7. It can be all-consuming. And so one of the things that I'll do is I'll work with business owners, helping them develop their systems, helping them develop their processes, their teams, so that they can get out of the business. And ultimately, I hope you're thinking that one day you're going to exit this business, because you are. You don't have a choice about that. But how you exit it, you do have a choice about. And so you may want to sell it. You may want to hand it off to a son or daughter. You may want to just keep it for a long time. It's more like an annuity income where you show up a couple of times a week, but the business can basically run without you. And that's the third reason why people hire me. So today we're going to talk about growing your business. And what I want to do is I want to give you 7 strategies, 7 steps, if you will, to help you grow your business. Now, as I go through these, you might say, oh, I've done this one and I've done that one. And that's great. And so maybe, as we talk about it, you'll get some new ideas to add to what you're already doing. Or you may go, I need all 7 of these. Or I just need a few of these. But I think there's going to be something for everybody here. So I wanted you to have this note-taking sheet so you can write notes for yourself. And more importantly than writing what I say, I want you to write down ideas, thoughts that strike you as you listen. You go, oh, this is an idea. And make note of that. You'll come up with your own tactics and your own ideas as we talk and as you listen. So this is yours, and I want to make sure this is very valuable to you. So, excuse me. Let's jump right in. The 7 strategies or the 7 steps I want to give you today. Number 1 is market to your current and past customers. Market to your current and past customers. Now, many people, when I say that to them, they go, why do that? I've already got them as customers. Why do I market to them? Well, one big reason is your competitors are marketing to them, okay? So they're getting messages, your competitors are sending your customers messages all the time about why they should be doing business with them instead of you. So you want to make sure you reinforce the message and the reason why they're doing business with you. You also want to look for ways that you can add additional value. Talk to them. Ask them questions. Ask them to give you feedback. That's kind of scary sometimes because, we're afraid they're going to tell us, there's something about what we're doing or about our product that they're not happy with. But I would rather them tell me than tell somebody else, okay? And I would rather know that and be able to try to do something to help them. But ask them questions about what their needs are and try to go deeper with your customers and see if there are ways that you can sell more to them or you can sell larger services to them and market to them. They trust you already. They have already decided to buy from you. And so you don't have to get over that trust barrier with them. They should be the easiest people to sell your services or your products to. So just think about it. What can I do to maximize this relationship? I was working with a business owner in Katy a few years ago, and he had hit a plateau in his business, had actually been very successful, had a customer base of about 5,000 in his database of past and current customers. And, he hit this plateau, he'd been there for 2 or 3 years, and it's like, I want to get going again, I'm just not growing. And so as we began working together and brainstorming and talking, he mentioned to me about this database of 5,000 customers. And it just struck me, that's a pretty significant resource you got there. I said, what are you doing to leverage that? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, what are you doing to market to these current and past customers? And he just paused because he thought, well, I don't do anything to market to them. And I said, well, do all 5,000 of those customers use all of your products and services? Well, no. Why not? Maybe it's because you haven't marketed to them, And so we put together a strategy it was actually a direct mail strategy to those 5,000 customers that he already had some kind of relationship with, about some services and some opportunities that his company could serve them that he wanted to be sure they knew about. And we kind of crafted it. He did a 3-piece direct mail thing specifically to his customers. In 90 days, he saw 25% growth in his revenue. Simply because they were a gold mine that he hadn't mined. They've been sitting there all the time. But when they realized, oh, there's more you can do, I'd like you to do this, I'd like you to do that. And so I want you to think first, who are your customers, the ones you have, and what can you do to communicate with them and share with them how you can add more value. And maybe you need to start by just asking them questions and identifying new needs and new services. I'm in the process right now of rebranding my company. I bought the Growth Coach franchise nearly 10 years ago, and this year I'm completing my 10-year contract with them. And so I'm rebranding under the name Glenn Smith Coaching because now I've been out here long enough, people know who I am. And so later this year, the Growth Coach brand is going to go away, and it's just going to be Glenn Smith Coaching. But what I did last year, this month last year, is I pulled together about 25 of my strongest clients. And I said, tell me, I'm getting ready to make a transition. What have I done that's really helped you? What hasn't been as helpful? And what can I do in the future to serve you in ways that I haven't served you? What needs do you have that when you stop and think about it, I probably could help you with that, but we just never thought about it and we've never talked about it. And it was a fantastic time. I had about a 2.5-hour luncheon with these 25 clients, and they gave me so much phenomenal feedback. It has been what has shaped now my new branding and my new services that I deliver to my clients. And it's all come from them. And what's been cool is about half a dozen of those people, maybe more, maybe 7 or 8 of them, have since engaged me in additional services that we weren't doing before. So my point is, don't neglect your current customers or your past customers. They already trust you. They're the easiest people to serve and sell to. So figure out ways to market to them. And so you can do surveys to get their find out more about what they need. Do informal just interviews and talk to them. Communicate with them. I don't know if you have any kind of e-marketing tool like MailChimp or Constant Contact or anything like that, but that's a great way to stay in touch and continue to market to your existing customers and just demonstrate excellence in everything you do. And when they go, wow, say, would you go online and write a review for me on Google? And get them at that moment to say yes. And you get a review or a testimonial or something that can help you in marketing down the road. Which then, this leads me to the second strategy I want to give you today. Number 2 is create a memorable experience for your customers and prospects. Create a memorable experience for them. An experience where they go, wow. Now, why would anybody say wow to your product or services? There's one reason, and that reason is this: you exceeded their expectations. Anytime you and I do something that exceeds their expectations, they will typically go, oh, wow, that's great. And so what I want to encourage you to do is start looking for ways that you can do little things. It doesn't have to be something humongous, just little things that, if I do this, it's really going to exceed their expectations. And they're going to go, wow. Because if they go, wow, they will remember that. And I bet if I stop here at the time and ask you, tell me about a product or service that you've used in recent months that exceeded your expectations, every one of you would probably have something. There's somebody, some business, something that, you go, wow, that really did go beyond. That exceeded what I expected. And I liked it. You remember it. It creates that memorable experience. Now, there are 3 key factors in creating a memorable experience or really powerful customer experiences. Number 1 is your employees. If you have employees, it's so critical that you have engaged employees. My wife and I bought some furniture a few years ago. Had to go to the warehouse on a certain morning to get this furniture. It's actually from our office. So she and I went out there as well on the north side of Houston. And we got there, and we had to interact with probably 4 or 5 different workers in this furniture company, warehouse, distribution place, whatever it was. And every one of those people had a bad attitude. I mean, they were griping, they were complaining about their company, they were, talking about how they wish they weren't there. It was the worst experience it was notably bad, And I remember just driving home, my wife and I talking about it. Can you believe that? What kind of experience did that create for me as their customer? Well, I haven't bought any furniture from them since, and I'm not real motivated. So you want your employees to be positive. You want them to be engaging with your customers. You're trusting your customers, your clients, to your employees. And they need to know that's a huge trust that you're putting in them. And so you want your employees to be engaged. You want them to listen. And a lot of times one of the things I'll do is I'll help a client or a business with customer service or customer care. And I use a model I call I-Care. Actually, I got it from Ken Blanchard. It's his model. An I-Care model on how to really treat your customers in a way that it leaves a powerful and positive impression on them. So employee engagement is critical. You can't just hire somebody and think, they're just going to do it. And I hear business owners say this to me a lot. Well, nobody cares like I do. Yes and no. I agree. Nobody's going to care about my business like I do. But anybody that works for me, I want them to care about it almost as much as I do. In fact, I want them to care about it as much as I do. And I work, I want them to care that much. And you want your employees to care that much. And so these are important. It doesn't just happen. You've got to train them. You've got to have those conversations with them. A second factor is execution. And when you execute, whether it's delivering a service or a product, you want to have predictable excellence. You don't want to use a system of apology all the time. I get so disappointed, particularly in restaurants. If I go to a restaurant and the service was bad, and I go back, the service was bad again, and I go back and, maybe it's good, but then the next time it's bad. And it's like, I never know what's going to happen here. But every time I do, they apologize. After a while, how do you feel about that apology? It's wow, 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 wow. Then you don't hear it, do you? It has no impact. So don't depend on a system of apology. Work to achieve predictable excellence so that if something doesn't happen, it is so unusual that it's easy to regain. I go to Chick-fil-A in Stafford on a regular basis. And I go through the drive-thru, and every time I go through, I order the same thing. I order a Chick-fil-A sandwich with 2 packs of mayonnaise and a bottle of water. I get it every time. And every time I keep thinking, are they going to give me 2 packs of mayonnaise? Or are they just going to give me 1? Or maybe they just miss it and don't give me any. Because that would be the worst, to have to eat a dry chicken sandwich, I want 2 packs of mayonnaise because I got 2 buns. I put 1 pack on one pack on the other. And so I want 2 packs of mayonnaise. And every time I tell them my order, they say, got it. And I say, thank you. And they always say,
it's a pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And so then I get up to the window, they hand me the bag, I pay for it, I drive off, I pull it, I always do this. Honestly, I'm such a creature of habit. I pull in the parking lot next to me, and I dig in the bag. Did they give me 2 packs of mayonnaise? I'm looking for them. And you know what? Every single time they give me 2 packs of mayonnaise. Every time. And I'm just waiting for that day that they don't. But I haven't found it yet. I'm just like, surely they can't be that perfect, that good. But you know what? We can be it much better than we realize most of the time. So, execute with predictable excellence. Number 3, have a system for problem recovery. The truth is, I am going to fumble the ball occasionally. You're going to fumble the ball occasionally. It will happen. And you will have an unhappy customer. Have a system. Have a plan that you know exactly what you're going to do, or your employees know exactly what they're going to do when that happens. And that's what I mean by a problem recovery system. Make it clear, make it simple, and make it swift so that you can solve that problem and re-engage that customer in a positive way. And I found that, when a vendor or a service provider has fumbled the ball with me, and they have said, hey, that should not have happened. Let me make that right. And they make it right. How do I feel toward it? How do you feel? Absolutely. It actually reinforces, exactly. And in a way, it almost endears you because you know they really care. I don't expect people to be perfect, but I do expect them to care. And that lets me know they really care. So those are the key things to creating a memorable experience with your customers. Number 3, a third strategy to help you grow your business is to grow you. And the way I like to say it is raise your leadership lid. Raise your leadership lid, L-I-D. This is a concept that John Maxwell talks about in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And he talks about this concept of the lid. He says every one of us as leaders eventually are going to hit the lid. We're going to hit our lid. And you know you've hit your lid when your business is hitting a plateau, you've lost the joy of what you're doing, you keep having these reoccurring problems. You've hit your lid. And we will all do it sooner or later. In fact, I think I could probably identify at least 3, maybe 4 times in my career that I hit my lid. And when you hit your lid, you got to do something different. You can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. And the cool thing is you can raise your lid. You can raise your leadership. You can increase your leadership capacity. But it doesn't happen unless you're intentional about it. You have to intentionally say, I've got to increase my capacity. I've got to grow as a leader. I've got to be able to lead on a higher level and think on a higher level. And you can do that. And there are a lot of things you can do. You can read. You can go to seminars. You can get some coaching. You can get into a peer group. There are a lot of different things you can do, but you have to be intentional. It won't just happen. And so raise your leadership lid. If you feel like my business is at a place that it's not growing, or it's at a place where it's not growing as fast as I want it to grow, that's a reflection of your leadership capacity. So own that. Jim Rohn used to say, if I don't change, nothing much is going to change. And so I've got to work on me. I've got to work on me as a leader. And you can raise your leadership lid. Number 4, invest more time and energy in developing your referral sources. Your referral sources. Every business owner tells me referrals are their best leads. Would you all agree?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the best. They're the best. They're the lowest dollar cost, and they are typically the highest quality. So we want referrals. But here's something that I don't know if you've ever thought about. Most satisfied customers do not give referrals. Have you noticed that?
They're not hard to
Sometimes that's true. They either don't want to share you with somebody else, or they're not sure you give them such good service, they're not sure if you give that service to somebody else. Because they're just so special, But, it's a
Why
lot
you
of...
don't ask for them first?
Say that again?
Why you don't ask for them?
A second reason why you don't get them is because you don't ask for them. That's exactly right. And another reason why we don't get them is because they don't know we want them to give us referrals. Probably because we haven't asked. Another reason they don't give us referrals is they just forget. Maybe they knew, maybe we've asked, but they just forget. Life happens to them, and they're not thinking about us. How many times has this happened to you? Where you've been talking to somebody, and you've had a good conversation, and they've asked you for a referral for something, or you hear about a struggle they're having, and or something they want, and after the conversation's over and they've left, you think, oh, I should have referred so-and-so. I should have told them about so-and-so. Or you go to that next chamber event. Who's it going to be? You go to that next chamber event, and you see, you see somebody there, and you go, oh, I talked to so-and-so the other day, and I should have introduced him to Rebecca. Or I should have introduced him to James. And you didn't. Why? You just forgot. And your satisfied customers forget. And so how do we remind them? here's what you need in a referral strategy. You need a regular touch system. A regular touch system where every month or every so often you touch them. You make a contact with them to keep their awareness of you and the value you bring. And sometimes it's just a personal touch, a note, a call, a visit. But you need to do it with consistency, with some kind of system or regularity. And then the second thing you need to do is find ways to add value. Not something you're necessarily selling, but just ways to add value as a friend. Tell them about something that they might find interesting. Share some information with them. Give them a gift. Do something that adds value. Sometimes it's just as simple as, hey, thank you for being my customer. Thank you for letting me serve you. That adds a lot of value to them, to feel appreciated and to feel valued. And then, not only add value, but then make the ask. So I say it this way: touch, value, ask. That's my strategy. Touch them on a regular basis, find ways to add value on a regular basis, and then ask for the referral. And most people, they need a scenario. They need a picture. You could say, if you come across any referrals, let send them my way. Or you can give them a picture. You can say something like, I've been working with a client and they're dealing with this particular challenge and I've really enjoyed helping them with it. And so, you say, I've helped them in this way. And if you know other people who are struggling with the same thing or who are needing the same thing, keep it in mind. And they go, oh, okay. And they'll be more keen to that. So my point in all of this is be intentional about building and nurturing your referral sources. And I promise you, you will get more referrals. You will. If you just wait and you're not really intentional about nurturing those, you're not going to get quite as many. Number 5, a fifth step or strategy to help you grow your business is to identify and correct system bottlenecks. System bottlenecks. Now, in every business, there's a bottleneck, okay? And what we have to realize is the bottleneck is always at the top of the bottle. In other words, it's us. We are oftentimes the biggest barrier to our business growing because too much depends on us. And you only have so much time. You only have so much energy. And so we've got to create systems. And every business needs 5 basic systems. You need a marketing system. How do you generate leads and new opportunities? You need a marketing system. Secondly, you need a selling system. When you get those opportunities, how do you close the sale? How do you make the sale? Do you have a selling system? And if it's not documented, then it's an idea. But when you document it, it becomes an asset. Does that make sense? You want to have a basic operations manual for your business where you've got these key systems, marketing, selling, and the others I'm going to give you in a moment. You've got them documented. It doesn't have to be exhaustive, but you've got some system documented, and you know this is how I do it. Because until you document it and define it, you cannot delegate with confidence. We typically delegate, but it scares the heck out of us most of the time when we delegate because we're afraid what? It's not going to get done. It's not going to get done as well as it should. We're always afraid of that. And the reason we're afraid is because we haven't defined what we expect for ourselves as well as for the person we're delegating to. And so documenting a system enables you to delegate. So you need a marketing system, you need a selling system. Thirdly, you need a customer fulfillment system. In other words, how do you deliver on your promise? Whether it's a service or a product, how do you do that with predictable excellence? You have to document it, otherwise sometimes it'll be better than others. That's why the fine restaurants always have a recipe book in the kitchen. Did you know that? They always have a recipe book. They have multiple chefs, multiple cooks, but they have a dish. And in the better restaurants, that dish is always exactly the same. It's predictable. And the reason is they have a recipe. And no matter who's cooking today, they follow that recipe. And that's the way we want our business to be. Whatever your product or service is that you deliver it the same way every single time with excellence. Because you've got a written recipe. So customer fulfillment is the third system. The fourth system is HR. You've got employees, you've got contractors, people that work for you, help you in your business. You need to have documented for them, or for yourself, here's how I manage my people. You ought to have the hiring process documented, the selection process, the performance review process, the job descriptions. You should, if you've got employees, you should have an employee handbook. The better, stronger, scalable businesses have these things documented. Because otherwise, your employees come and say, hey, did we get off on New Year's Eve? Or just New Year's Day? And you're sitting there going, what did we do last year? Because you have it defined. And then it gets crazy. The more people you get, the crazier it gets. And then you just got a mess. And you can't scale when you've got a mess. The fifth system is admin. Your admin, your finance, your accounting, your data management, those back office functions. How do you run your business? So you want to create systems that are documented so you're not the only one that can do it, because you will very quickly become the bottleneck. And even, I work with a lot of sales professionals, I do a lot of sales coaching, and even with salespeople who work for various companies, I ask them, what are your systems as a sales professional? Because you're an entrepreneur. I mean, most of us, if you're in sales, your income is based on what you produce, right? And so you need to think about yours just like any other business. It's yours. What are your systems? And document them and refine them. Don't become the bottleneck. So that's a big one that I work on a lot with clients. And by the way, to help you with that, I give my clients a systems checklist. This is a checklist that we work on and review on a regular basis. And let me pass it around. And you can pass that around. I don't know if I have enough for everybody, but if you don't want it, pass it on. If you do want it, keep it. And if you don't have it, this is Angelo Gonzalez right here. Angelo, some of you know Angelo. Angelo works with me. He's my marketing director. And he's also the go-to guy when I fumble the ball. He's the guy that picks it up and runs with it. Okay, so anyway, if you need anything and you can't see me, see him. So this is a tool to help you develop your systems. Number 6, the sixth strategy to growing your business is to create a marketing engine. A marketing engine. And I like to use that word engine. John Jant wrote a book a few years ago called The Marketing Engine, or The Referral Engine. And that's what you want. You want your marketing to be an engine that really drives your business. And a good marketing engine is built around a basic plan where you know who are you really trying to reach, your target customer. I was working with a prospective client this morning, and we were talking about who do you want to be your customer? Because he was wrestling with, what should I do in my marketing? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? I said, it just depends. Who do you want to reach? And he told me who he wanted to reach. And I said, there are basically 3 general categories of marketing. There's traditional advertising, which we're all probably familiar with, print, direct mail, radio, television, flyers, those kinds of things, the traditional marketing. Then secondly, there's relationship marketing, which, is networking, building referral relationships, the relationship marketing, just going and talking to people. And then the third is digital marketing. Anything you do online is the digital marketing. Your website, your SEO, AdWords, anything like that. Social media, that's your digital marketing. And so as we talked about who he really wanted as his customers, he was thinking traditional advertising.
Okay, for you, we missed the first one.
Traditional advertising.
Okay.
Sure. He was thinking traditional advertising. And I asked him who he was trying to reach, and he told me, I said, it seems to me like the only way you're really going to reach and connect with those people is through relationship and through just talking to them and building a relationship and building some referral partners. He says, yes, that's absolutely true. And I said, then why would you spend money doing traditional advertising? And he just looked at me like, I don't know. But that's what he was thinking. Now, in some situations, traditional advertising is what you need to do. It just depends on who you're trying to reach. And so then he asked me, well, what if so-and-so comes to me? It's not my target customer. I said, what do you think? You sell to them. You don't say, no, I can't sell to you. You're not my target customer. You don't do that. You sell to them. You serve. But if you're going to spend time and money marketing, only spend time and money marketing to the people you really want. Your best target customers. That's where you put your effort. Otherwise, you're going to be just shooting out scattershot. And maybe one of those little pellets might hit somebody. And you don't want to do that. You want to be much more focused. Marketing is always more effective when you are focused. Okay? And that's the key to developing a marketing engine. Target. Focus on who you want. Secondly, identify the right way, whether it's traditional methods or digital methods or relationship marketing. Figure it out and don't waste your time and money on other things. One of the first things that oftentimes happens when I start working with somebody is we're talking about their marketing activity and their marketing budget. And I typically find that they're wasting anywhere from half to 3/4 of their marketing budget. They're just wasting. And I'll ask questions, why are you doing that? Well, I don't know, I just feel like I should. And I said, how are you measuring that and tracking it? Oh, well, I don't really, but I'm scared to stop, And so they don't know. So one of the first things we'll do is start tracking and measuring. What's working, what's not? Is this really what's best to reach your target customer? And so identify your target, determine your channel, your method, set your budget, and track and measure everything. Because by tracking and measuring, you can improve. And many businesses, they don't improve in their marketing. They stay in business year after year after year, and they don't improve. They don't attract any more customers than they always have in the past. And so you want to improve. The way to improve is track it and measure it all the time. And that's how you create a marketing engine. Last, number 7, the last strategy is spread your message and culture. And I'm talking about your company, the message of your company, your story, your culture, and train everyone. Train everyone. Train your employees, train your contractors, train your vendors, train your referral partners, train everybody. Make sure everybody knows your story, knows your value proposition, knows who you're looking for as a potential customer or client. Make sure they know. Train everybody. You've got to be training all the time. All the time. And even if you're a solopreneur, you've got to be training your referral partners. You've got to be training other people who help you in your business. So they know what your message is. They know your story. And maybe they're not going to tell it, but they'll say, hey, so-and-so, I want you to talk to Glenn. Because How would you hear about what he does? You know? And then they'll set you up so you can tell your story. So those are 7 strategies that you can use today. You can start on today to help you grow your business. Now to wrap up, I want to ask one last question. I'd love to hear from several of you. Which one of these stood out the most to you personally?
Existing and past clients.
Okay.
Something that, like you said, you kind of take for granted that you've already got them and you don't have to pay as much attention to them, but no, it's a lot cheaper to keep a client than to find a new client to replace that person. So that really kind of struck with me today.
Good, thank you.
I'll take more people out to lunch this year.
Okay, good.
Further that marketing budget into.
Someone else, your takeaway, or which of these really helped you the most? Yes.
I think the memorable experience, because that way they'll remember you, and especially if you're first involved to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more hands-on instead of just calling a company and not knowing who you're talking to.
Yes. Very good. Thank you.
That is something that I do. I'm a very talented pet trainer, and so I own a business, and so every dog learns parlor tricks when I care for them. And I had a standard poodle that liked to make noise, and he's in a show clip, and I taught him who's a coyote, and he will now bay like a coyote. The people, they left $100 bonus on. They cannot believe that I did that. So I do that. Every pet does some crazy stuff. I videotape it, send it to them as a treat, and the people like, if somebody builds a pool, they have trained it a dog that think he can jump 20 feet and retrieve, and the people are just amazed. And I don't do anything but referrals.
Awesome.
And I can charge whatever I want. When I go up on my prices, the people are still beating it down.
Good.
I think it's important to remember, we talked about an operations manager, but if you work for a large company, that's something that's already done for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start off as an individual, and then you grow where you've got lots of people, when you mentioned the recipe book, it's like my mom makes coconut cream pie.
Oh.
She makes it. There's no recipe. So
Yep.
if as a leader of your company, you start off by yourself, you're doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So hire a bunch of people, then you don't teach them or keep an operations manual, and they're not going to know, they're not going to know how to do what you do.
That's exactly right.
And so they can't make the pie.
Yep, that's exactly right. Very good. Thank you.
I thought that, and everything that you said in the beginning, first time you started talking, I realized that all of these elements are excellent if you're ready to grow into them, if you're ready to take action. So for me, those important things, raising you.
And that's a good
Because,
thing.
you got to
That's very good. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's the number 5, which is about the system.
Yep.
Setting up your system, the marketing system, everything you do have to be documented. I started my own business, I've been documenting a lot, but I know I still have a lot to document. So that's one of the business I'm here to teach.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Good. Anyone else? All right. Let me wrap up by just let me close with this. If you would like to have a 1-hour complimentary session where we just strategize together to help you on growth strategies in your business, I would like to offer that to you complimentary as a thank you for being here today, okay? Any of you, if you'd like to do that, I'm making that offer to you. Angelo has my schedule, and he will actually schedule an appointment for you before you leave today, if you want that. No obligation, no sales pitch. It's just a session to serve you, okay? So if you're interested in that, just let us know. Now, here's the sales pitch. I have a 12-month program called the Business Acceleration Program that if you are interested, it's a half day once a month for 12 months. We cover all the major systems in your business. We do strategic planning every quarter. So you have a quarterly strategic plan, and then each month in between we work on strategic systems. You do it with a small group of business owners. Usually the groups are 6 to 12. No competitors. but a lot of collegial support and networking within that group. That program is available to you for $395 a month, and we typically do that in Fort Bend, up at Fort Bend Chamber right now. So if you have any interest in that, you can talk to Angelo or me, or think about it. It's on my website as well. Y'all, thank you for letting me be with you today. Christy and Andrew, thank you for having me today.